So, first of all, sorry about the inconsistent uploads. My life's been a little bit busier as of late than it was when I was pounding out uploads, which I know weird. I had exams then, and yet now I'm struggling. It's because I have too much. I think it's because I have too much free time. Anyway, this film, Our House, it didn't work very well for me. What this film does in the first half is very interesting. It sort of focuses on the family and how this guy is trying to adapt to having become basically a single parent to his brother and sister, and it's actually quite interesting, but it's not like an amazingly interesting thing, but it's quite interesting. And then the film, by roughly the second half, like, it ditches a lot of it. Like, for the first half, it just feels like it's dealing with grief. It's dealing with it in a way that I thought was really interesting. And then by the second half, it tries to be scary, and it feels like it's just throwing every cliche at the wall. The shadowy figures in the background, the the shadowy figures in the background. That ghost is not who you're expecting. The what's that one I'm thinking of? Yeah. Oh, the ghost has a tragic backstory, and it's also not the ghost, and it's not the ghost you're expecting. It kind of does that twice. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous, but it just becomes very generic. I just can't help but think that. Oh, sorry. Sorry. It's like 2:15 in the morning. Anyway, this. No, as I'm recording this. But yeah, the film goes for very generic in the second half, and I mean, it doesn't really work. I mean, the direction here just feels almost lazy. Like, a lot of the cinematography is just very generic, and it's very like bland walls. Like, you see how my walls are blue? Yeah, there's like literally a room that's just white walls, and there's a few bits on one side, but when the camera cuts to the other side, it just sort of looks bland. There was also, I noticed, a few scenes where the background was just blurred out a lot, and it just didn't work for me. I know it just took me out of the film. Like, and I get it, it's trying to highlight them two characters, but it doesn't really work. It just sort of distracts you a little bit. And yeah, it's just these little things that make me feel like the director's a little bit incompetent. Like, and he's got room to grow. He could do good. There was a few moments where I thought, okay, this is a little bit creepy, but overall it wasn't enough. And the film's also a little bit random in its storytelling. Like, 1 minute the ghosts are friendly, next minute it's completely different, and it just doesn't really work. Like, another thing that I sort of didn't like was the performances. I thought the kid playing Matt, he just felt very child actory. Like, you could tell this was his first role. It might not even be his first role, I'm not sure, but it just felt like his first role. It just didn't feel like a film. It didn't feel like he was a very competent actor. Sorry, I'm just shutting down my computer. Yeah, he just didn't feel like a very competent actor. And the rest of the cast don't really do much better. The little girl who plays Becca isn't horrible, but the guy that plays Ethan, he just sort of bugged me a little bit. Like, something about him rubbed me the wrong way. Like, he just felt a little bit bland. And the girl who plays Hannah, I thought she was the best in the film, but even she had her bad moments. One thing I am a little bit disappointed, we see in the opening, we see the mum and dad, but we don't get to see much more of them, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a huge loss when they die in the beginning. And then we also see that out of the main characters, we see Ethan, Hannah, and then their friend, and he's never mentioned again. Like, we never see, always mentioned once, but we never see him again. And I don't know, I thought it would have been interesting to see how Dave come in to try and help him. Like, it would have made it more generic, but I feel like it would have leaned more into the generic vibe rather than just feeling like a generic horror film that doesn't stand out. Like, it just could have been another character that could have been somewhat likable. This film, for me, I didn't really like it. It had potential, but it just didn't live up to it. Also, I don't like the design of the ghosts. They're just black, like shadowy figures, and the way the film builds it up, you'd think I was spoiling it, but it's on the poster. Yeah, the film markets it with this ghost, and the film's marketed with the ghost, but the ghost is played like a plot, like a reveal. Also, the film does what a lot of horror films do, and just sets itself up for a sequel. And not really, I'm not really feeling it. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of it's so generic that they've got to do another one. I just don't feel like the film's gonna do any kind of well. It was a directed. I don't know what kind of theatrical release it got. I'm not gonna lie. I watched it online here in the UK because here in the UK we get crap for cinema. Like, we haven't got Eighth Grade or Sorry to Bother You. What else? We haven't got. I'm trying to think of other somewhat big releases. We get a lot of late. We got Ant-Man and the Wasp and Incredibles 2 like a month late. No, we got Upgrade. Literally, the beginning of the American summer holidays is like the beginning of June. It came out like very early, like first weekend of June over in America. In the UK, 31st of August. We get shafted in terms of films and their releases. So I don't really feel bad, but at the same time, I kind of do a little bit. But yeah, this film, I didn't really enjoy it. I'm gonna give it a 6.1 out of 10, which I know it sounds like it's a high rating, but honestly, after a 6, you have to be really bad. Like, you have to do a lot more wrong. This film, while it doesn't do a lot wrong, well, it does, or no, while it does do quite a little bit wrong, it doesn't feel like they're huge missteps. Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like. I know I've mentioned a lot that I didn't like, but for some reason, it's a generic horror film. I mean, I can sort of give them a little bit more of a pass. I don't know. I think I have a bit of a bias towards them. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.